The Independent National Electoral Commission INEC has approached the Nigerian Air Force with a request for adequate security to enable the Commission register all eligible Nigerians. The chairman of the Commission, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, who made the request while on a working visit to the headquarters of the Nigerian Air Force in Abuja, says that INEC is faced with the challenge of assessing some local government areas in Borno State due to security threats. However, the Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, promised the INEC boss of the readiness of the Nigerian Air Force to provide security for electoral officers and materials in partnership with other security agencies.
With the restoration of peace, so many have returned to their towns and villages. We have a challenge in respect of 5 local government areas. And these local government areas are Damboa, Chibok, Goza, Bama, and Kalabalgi. And the challenge is not in the local government headquarters, but the road leading to the local government headquarters. The roads leading to this local government headquarters, we are very lovely informed, risky in the sense that the insurgents have in some instances mined these routes.
The local governments you talked about, Bama, Damboa, Chibok, Goza, and Kalabalgi, are areas that our airplanes fly virtually every day and night, as a matter of fact. So not only will we be able to move your personnel and equipment to this local government headquarters, and I think our presence there on daily basis, day and night, will also confer some kind of security to the personnel while they are conducting their assignment.
The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Honorable Yakubu Dogara, says that the Gender Equality Bill will be passed as a compromise move that will have the effects of balancing, not dominating one gender over the other. Mr. Dogara said this while responding to a request from a delegation from the Conference of Female Parliamentarians of State Houses of Assembly, led by Honorable Ngunan Adengi at the National Assembly.
This is a delegation from the Conference of Female Parliamentarians of State Houses of Assembly in a meeting with the leadership of the House of Representatives. Led by its chairperson, the group, which seeks to foster the inclusion of women in politics and advance democracy and governance in Nigeria, makes this request.
Nigeria currently, Your Excellency, falls short of the national gender policy benchmark of 35% minimum representation for women, as well as global and regional benchmark to which she is a signatory. Nigeria needs to invest in women participation in politics, create an enabling environment for women to strive and tackle perceived systemic and cultural hindrances to women's inclusion.
The Speaker, while assuring the delegates that the Gender Equality Bill will be passed, noted that it may not be 100% in line with their expectations.
We are aware of the Gender Equality Bill. It is before the National Assembly and is before the relevant committees of the House for processing. It's been processed. At the end of the day, I believe that this House that has the responsibility of representing men and women will do justice to the bill. The same thing will come out of the bill. It may not be 100% in line with our expectations, but it's going to be a compromise bill, a bill that will actually will have the effect of balancing, not overpowering one gender against the other.
The Speaker also informed them that other areas of concern as regards gender equality will be addressed in the Constitution Amendment exercise, whose report will soon be presented to the House.
Let's move over to business news now with Anwar Odu.
and welcome to Business News. As part of efforts to boost Nigeria's local currency and remove excess liquidity from the money market, the Central Bank of Nigeria sold over 107.64 billion naira in treasury bills today. But traders are saying the banking system liquidity was 246 billion naira today, up from 206.96 billion naira last week. The CBN sold 54.42 billion naira in the 167-day treasury bill at 18% and 55.22 billion naira paper at 18.5% through open market operations. Meanwhile, business closed today with the naira at 390 to the dollar on the streets, but it held steady at 305.85 on the interbank market. Nigeria's foreign exchange reserves rose to $30.80 billion in the month of April. That's the highest level since September 2015. This increase could be attributed to the recent rise in global crude oil price and the proceeds of the country's Eurobond, which was issued in the month of March. Data from the central bank shows Nigeria's forex reserves stood at $30.31 billion a month ago. The country's reserves have risen 18.1% since the start of the year, but they're still far off the peak of $64 billion achieved in the month of August 2008. The last trading day of April saw almost a flat close amid more first-quarter earning results, which was released today on the Nigerian Stock Exchange. Bisi Adebayo has a summary of today's transactions.
The last trading session for the week and indeed the month of April ends almost flat, but with a 0.02% increase. This reflects a slightly higher all-share index of 25,758.51 against 25,753 recorded on Thursday. However, the market capitalization still stands at 9.81 trillion naira on the back of a mixed performance from 21 gainers and 20 losers. The three major advances for the day are NASCON, Nigeria Police Microfinance Bank and Livestock Feeds, while the top decliners are FBN Holdings, FCMB and Julius Berger. Overall volume traded was at 366.46 million shares, valued at 2.87 billion naira in 3,598 deals. Access Bank, Fidelity Bank and Zenith Bank were the major volume drivers for Friday's session. And that's it on the stock market reports. I'm Bisi Adebayo.
It's been a record-breaking week on Wall Street, especially for the Nasdaq Composite. That's after hitting an all-time high on Wednesday. VOA Channel's TV business correspondent Gio Malandrino tells us more.
It was another record-breaking week on Wall Street with the technology sector leading the way. Last night was the busiest of first-quarter earnings season with Nasdaq-listed heavyweights Amazon.com, Alphabet, Intel, Microsoft, and Starbucks reporting after the close. Now, Amazon had a huge beat on earnings and also beat on revenue, while Alphabet had a big beat on earnings and on the revenue side, with the CEO saying that 2017 was off to a good start. Recall, Amazon and Alphabet have been moving the market all year. In fact, most of the technology sector has been super strong, which is why we broke 6,000 this week on the Nasdaq Composite and opened at yet another all-time high this morning. Even though this week was very busy for earnings, we're not quite out of the woods yet. The focus will shift to energy companies next week with ExxonMobil and Chevron reporting this morning. They are up in trading as of 10:30 a.m. Eastern. But the sector has been under pressure relative to the rest of the market. Since February, the S&P 500 energy sector index declined 5%. It lagged all the other 10 S&P 500 sectors over that period and is the worst performing sector year to date, down 9.1%. Now, with oil prices below the $50 level and supply at record levels, it seems as though expense reduction is going to drive the earnings season more than higher oil prices. Research firm CFRA maintains its underweight recommendation for the energy sector and believes that price volatility is expected to continue until there is a defined reduction in global oil inventories. Given such a high correlation between energy prices and earnings, CFRA would like oil prices to continuously exceed that $55 a barrel level before it gets more constructive on the group. Now, outside of earnings next week on Wednesday, the FOMC will deliver its interest rate decision, and the key employment report for April will be released on Friday, so traders have a lot to contend with next week. From the NASDAQ market site in New York, I'm Jill Malandrino, and this is VOA Channel's Business News.
And from New York, we'll check out other equity markets across the globe. They are actually ending the month of April mostly negative as investors are reacting to the United States' first quarter GDP report, the fresh earnings, and geopolitical tensions. Thanks for watching Business News on the last trading day in the month of April. I'm Anne Nwawado. It's back to you, Gimba.
Despite a very rough economic and financial climate of 2016, FCMB Group plc appears to have fared well, with a net revenue position which increased by 33% from 84.9 billion naira in 2015 to 112.6 billion naira in 2016. This position was made known by the GMD of the bank, Ladi Balogun, at their 4th annual general meeting in Lagos, where shareholders were offered a dividend of 10 kobo per share.
The 4th annual general meeting of the FCMB Group is focused on how well the bank fared in 2016. The stand-in chairman of the AGM, Bismarck Rouhani, kicks off talks with figures that get the shareholders applauding.
1,980,271,078 naira and 10 kobo be declared payable to the members so entitled.
With 112% increase recorded in profit before tax from 6.5 billion naira in 2015 to 13.8 billion naira in 2016, commendations as well as areas of concerns were expressed by shareholders.
How are we optimizing our relationship with the 4 million customers? That's the question that struck me.
Responding, the Group Managing Director of FCMB, Ladi Balogun, clarified grey areas including issues of branches and network.
One of the things that we are trying to do is develop alternative ways for people to access the bank. So mobile banking, and we're also looking at things like agency banking. So we'll be setting up banking agents in different parts of the country with a target to have several thousands of those over the next few years, where you'll be able to do most of your basic transactions, including lodging in cash, taking out cash, opening accounts, and making transfers.
The meeting climaxes with a birthday song for the bank's founder and a farewell song for the outgoing Group Managing Director. The incoming Managing Director, Adam Nuhu, sees a much brighter future for the bank.
The economy is still very tough. We're very hopeful. A lot of our initiatives are started paying off. We've seen significant improvements in operational efficiency, and therefore we have a very bright hope for 2017. We've seen a fairly good Q1, and we're very hopeful that we will do much better this year.
2017 is a year of recovery for Nigeria and a year of more rapid recovery for First City Monument Bank.
As FCMB improves on its operational strategies, customers and shareholders may just be in for a rewarding future experience.
Lack of accurate data on occupational accidents and deaths has made it impossible for the government to make an effective enforced law targeted at reducing hazards in workplaces. This is the gloomy picture painted by the representative of the Ministry of Labour and Employment at an event to mark the 2017 World Day for Safety and Health at the workplace in Abuja, Nigeria's capital.